We're going to talk about social engineering first. Anybody heard of Chris Hadnagy? Raise your hand. Yeah, you heard of Chris Hadnagy?
Just from you.
Oh, from me. I'll leave now then. So Chris Hadnagy, essentially, in my opinion, is probably one of the better social engineers. He's up there with like Kevin Mitnick, who's passed on now, unfortunately. Frank Abagnale, you know, Catch Me If You Can, the film.
Yeah.
So that's the type of things that he sort of teaches. But when you boil it down to its very basic terms, social engineering is getting a target to do something or say something they shouldn't do or say. It's as simple as that. We can use clever tools like misusing human psychology to trick you into doing things or to pressure you into doing things. Or, you know, we can do things like a full OSINT operation on you, yeah? And then we'll find something bad about you, and if we can't find anything bad about you, we'll infect your webcam at home with a bit of malware and we'll record you until we find something bad about you. And then we'll use it to blackmail you.
I'm innocent, I promise.
That's what they all say, guys. So the way that I've put this presentation together, you can take it away with you. There's loads of data on it. I normally just talk from the mind, and you can take it home and you can learn some extra bits and bobs if you want. Bit corny, I know. We're going to bake a social engineering cupcake. Okay? So this is just to try and get you guys to understand how these attacks take place. We're going to take 20 grams of unlimited attack surface. That means these attacks can come in from any angle, against any person, against any business, at any time. Yeah? We're going to take 30 grams of an almost inexhaustible attack vectors. So what I mean by that is, if I was to attack you again, I'd attack you from all different angles. Could be regarding your family, could be regarding work, could be regarding something you want to hide, could be encrypting your personal photographs and saying if you don't do this, you're not going to get them back ever again. That actually happened to senior officers in the Metropolitan Police. 3 senior officers, you didn't hear this from me, got attacked at home, and they were trying to use the leverage of their personal files and things that they said they had to get them to do things that they didn't want to do. It did get sorted out, but it's terrifying. We're talking like a dash of not enough training. Who's had social engineering training before? Anybody? And what was it? Don't click on phishing links. Don't let anybody tailgate.
Don't let fellas walk around the office unaccompanied. Was one of them.
Which I've done many times. It's great, and I'll show you. So, quick look at statistics. I'm not going to go into all these statistics. You probably know a lot of the statistics. You can find them online, and it's also on the presentation. But things are growing exponentially. And what we are finding is, as technical mitigation like Overwatch comes into place to protect you, where are the hackers and the threat actors and the bad guys and the black hats going to go? Where are they going to go? Anyone? I'm going to pick on these if you don't work with me. They're going to go to the human element, because sometimes it's easier to trick somebody to do something than it is to try and take on head on, especially with tools that are designed to protect against technical attacks. So I believe, and this is me saying this is not anybody else's views, I believe a lot of businesses have it wrong. They're not forward thinking enough to know that they need these tools in place. And if you look at the stats, it shows you, I think there was 18% of businesses are ready with an effective plan for these attacks. 18%. That's not a lot. Yeah? That's a playground for the bad guys, literally. So we have to change it. We have to have good technical mitigation, and we have to have good training. I was once told, oh, you can never patch a stupid person. Well, of course you can. You give them training and they understand. You know, it doesn't mean they're stupid because they don't understand. It means they've got expertise in different areas. You absolutely can. And by giving proper social engineering training, we can address this. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of sort of what can go wrong with a social engineering attack. This is an attack on a large company. I can't tell you who the company is. If you've been there before, you might be able to guess it. If you do, please keep it confidential. I've got permission to show you this. I've had to blur certain bits out so you couldn't get logos and stuff. Now, I was asked to test their human firewall. We dressed up initially as sewage workers because the site itself you weren't allowed near it. So we went in as sewage workers, planted a little seed saying in the minds of the people who were working on the sewage systems, we don't have to come in, but we might have to, and we're trying to leave our options open. That enabled us to go around the building, look for things like passwords written on flip charts, which are always found in meeting rooms. You can see them. Anyone who has ever wrote messages from teams to teams, have you ever had them before? Where you're like, thank you for this, that, the other. Make sure they can't be seen from outside because that's given valuable information straight away to the social engineering, knowing who's in what teams, who they owe something to, etc. I went in, done an OSINT operation, so open source intelligence gathering. I went online. Anyone done Facebook stalking? Raise your hands. Yeah, Facebook stalking. So it's Facebook stalking on steroids. So we're going to stalk them. We're going to find out everything about them as much as we possibly can. We use special tools. Maltego it's called, and we can build maps of who they've interacted with and things like that. Once we get that, we look at the person themselves. So we try to get into the mind's eye of the person and understand the psychology of that person. You know, if they've got 5,000 friends on Facebook, well, the chances are, if you add them, they'll probably accept your ad, and then you can gain access further into their accounts and find things out. So I found out like where they'd been on holiday, the fact that they went swimming with sharks and they were terrified, what they had for the dinner, where they lived, what the children's names were. Everything about that person was all on social media. It was really, really bad. So I had this meeting with one of them. I lied to her completely, said I had this project which I didn't have, and I wanted to see how their internal processes worked. Went to the toilet straight away once I was signed in. Anybody have any ideas why I went to the loo? Don't worry about before I went to the loo. I really did need a wee.
Change your outfit?
Sorry?
Did you change your outfit?
No, I didn't change my outfit. I took a photo of their card, their visitor's badge, and then I took it home and I noticed that the lanyard was a standard lanyard. Could buy them in all different colours off eBay, Amazon, whatever. Already had 20 of them. So I printed out this really poor visitor's card and I stuck on the appropriate coloured lanyard, and I went back a week later and I walked straight past security with a smile and I went upstairs and I come across a locked door. Never let anybody tailgate in. I tailgated in. So this is essentially me in the building. So I got past all the security, walked into the building. It was real marble on the sinks, by the way, not any plastic stuck on stuff. It was a lovely building. Got out of the main sort of toilet door into their main open office, and on the left you'll see meeting rooms. I had to blur it out, unfortunately. In those meeting rooms I managed to get devices in there, covert devices. And then on the left you'll see the social engineer's dream, which is one of those boards from team members thanking each other, because straight away I've got loads of names and stuff. Anyone guess what I'm doing here?
Taking photographs?
No.
I'm not on the toilet. I was just about to say I'm not having a wee. I'm making cups of tea in their open tea station in front of all of their staff drinking their cups of tea. I sat down and I started pretending I was playing on Facebook when really I was recording their confidential meetings. Yeah? I sat there for how long before somebody pulled us up? Guess. Come on. Give us a
Half an
guess.
hour.
Nope, nowhere near.
Oh dear.
3.5 hours. Right, I drank 10 cups of coffee. I was bouncing off the ceiling. I was bored out of my head. So, what do you do when you're bored? You take selfies. So I started taking a couple of selfies. That was a joke to the management because it had their logo on it. Oops, that one there on the cup. So I was watching people going about and somebody approached me and said, "Oh, who are you? Where are you from?" Well, I could have panicked. I said, "Oh, my name's Tom. I'm from IT. God, your office is bloody amazing. I love it." And he said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "Well, I'm stuck in this little cupboard type built room and my window faces a wall of an extension." I says, "Look at the view you've got. How long have you lived here for?" Well, he started talking about himself for about 15 minutes. And then in the end he said, "Yeah, I'm going to have to go, Tom. Nice to meet you." And I said, "No, but I'll catch you again soon." And he walked off. He didn't verify me. Yeah? So I just turned it to him. That's the door I tailgated into multiple times. And that's a photocopier. I went up to a lady on the photocopying machine and said, "Hi, it's Tom from the photocopying company. I've been told it's been a little bit naughty. I'm first day on the job. Can you show us where the other photocopier is, please?" I knew where it was. Why do you think I asked her to show me? Think about it, like a bad guy.
Through the next door.
It was an open office.
So if you're getting escorted by someone, no one's going to ask any questions.
Exactly. So, very loud, bravado, bit of a laughter. People associated me with a member of staff. So when they saw me walking around having a laugh, then, you know, they wouldn't question me anymore. But one thing I can say that I could not make up, I swear on God's earth this was true, there's an arrow pointing there. That's a photocopying. She said, "Yeah, I'll show you about, but do us a favour, watch the photocopying, don't let anybody on it, it's confidential." I'm like, alright, I'll make it. So I twacked it, taken without owner's consent, stuck it in my pocket, found out it was interview questions for a financial role and answers that they wanted. So essentially I should have applied for it because I would have probably got it. Moving on, got a bit more bored, started taking more selfies, a bit more blatant. That's taking photos with Kali Linux on the screen in their office, and that's me taking photos with members of staff. Yeah, I was smiling, I'm doing a selfie, I've not worked here before. Everybody fell for it. 3.5 hours I was there. Then it got serious. Yeah, really serious. That is a weaponized device called a USB rubber ducky. Anybody heard of it? Yeah, that could have easily been a bash bunny, which is even more powerful. This device can steal passwords from your SAM file, it can do all sorts of things. Overwatch, I believe, will stop a majority of these attacks. Yeah, it's a powerful tool. So that would have potentially stopped that. It might have struggled with Bash Bunny unless there was policies on the USB. But how could I make this better? How can I make it better, guys? What would you do? We've got a lot of quiet voices here. Come on, if you were going to be bad, what would you do? Would you steal a computer? Goodness me. Asked a woman to log off her computer. She did. I unplugged it, and I picked it up, and I walked out the building with it. Yeah. So you can see me picking it up here. Won't be long. I'll be back in a bit with your computer that I'm stealing from in front of your face. So I walked out, past the staff, onto the foyer, onto the stairs, and something catastrophic happened. What do you think happened? Did I get caught? No. I pulled my phone out to fill him out in my pocket and I dropped it down the middle of the stairs, 4 flights, into an empty foyer with a woman on the desk and a security guard. And there's me on the stairs with a stolen computer. Yeah? Did I get caught? We'll soon find out. Brand new phone, smashed to bits. How did I get out of it? Distraction. Look, it's fine. It was absolutely knackered. It's fine, it didn't break. We're going to test to see how good this case is, because if it's good, it wouldn't have broken. That's me with a stolen computer, by the way. Can you believe it? It's fine. That was lucky. So I couldn't leave immediately because they would have thought, well, he's just smashed his case, he's got a computer on his arm and he's trying to leave. So what did I do? Talked to the security guard, walked straight up, put the computer on the table in front of them, started doing this story to the woman and saying, "No, my wife's going to kill us, I broke a new phone screen, but it's working fine, but I broke it a bit." And she felt a bit sorry for us, and then I said my goodbyes. Did I get caught? Nope, I got out into the car park and then I got caught. Now this is a great lesson. In-person social engineering is dangerous, but the enemy of the social engineer is time. You want to be in, bang, out, gone. Don't give them a chance to think, because when you think, you start relying on your subconscious mind, you start feeling these gut feelings, and that's your subconscious mind figuring out that there's something not quite right. It gives you a gut feeling. Poor woman ran down 5 flights of stairs to try and catch me. But what did she do wrong?
Your destination is on the left.
Hello.
Sorry, can I just confirm who you are? Like, where?
Yeah, would you like to come inside? That's the face of a guilty man. So essentially, I give her time to think. She panicked. She come downstairs to catch us. What did she do wrong? She followed me outside. If I'm willing to risk 10 years stealing your computer and data breaches and all sorts of things, what's stopping me from whacking you over the head with a hammer and sticking you back of the car? Yeah? Nothing? Nothing at all. You let the police deal with it. As soon as it goes outside, you let the police deal with it, okay? So a very quick ending to this. I went in, said to them, there's me get out of jail free card. I literally printed a get out of jail free card for a laugh. This is me contact. They phoned up this lady and she said, I don't know him, you know, phone the police immediately. And I'm like, what? They got the wrong Leanne, so they phoned the wrong one. So I thought I was going to get a bit of a slap, but I didn't, luckily. So, takeaways from this, you can have the best sort of upbringing, you can be lovely, you can be kind to people, it will be turned against you. Why does tailgating still work? Why does it work?
It's just people are nice.
People don't want to slam a door in somebody's face because it's impolite. Why do you think passwords were so predictable? Yeah? It's normally English words if you're in England. It's normally 1 or 2 words and it's normally got a number at the end, and maybe it's the special characters either replacing one of the letters with a number, or you're laughing, I can see, yeah? It's actually called hackerish. You can read about it in the jargon file on textfiles.com from the early 90s. So if we invented it, why wouldn't we try it? And if you use special characters, it's normally a question mark or an exclamation mark, because that's what we're taught to put at the end of a sentence, and normally the first letter is characterised because that's what we're taught to put at the first part of the sentence. So there's all these psychological tricks that we can fall into. So this is another test. This is a remote social engineering test. Any questions so far? Yeah? Learning anything? Enjoying it? It gets way better, way juicier. So anyone technical in the room? Do you want to raise your hands? Anyone code? Yeah? Feel free to play with the scripts that I've included in this. It's not for you to read and understand now, but if you want to have a play with them, try it yourself, you can. So I set up an Apache web server, okay? This is part of the Kali Linux platform. It's already pre-installed. All you need to type in is Apache, their service, Apache 2 start, and it will start an Apache web server for you. I loaded it up with a custom script, but it attempts to take your IP address, and all I needed to do was prove that I had the internal IP addresses, the external IP addresses of the people, but it also attempts to steal them, the bit that I haven't showed you, from VPNs. Yes, it's possible to steal, to unclear, to bring visible sort of the root IPs of a lot of VPNs, especially recently, because there's been a new vulnerability found in the structure of VPNs. As you can see, I've tested it locally. That's link local if you know that. This is one of the scripts I put into the page, written in PHP, which executes in the browser. So what I wanted to do was essentially get somebody to click on my link. Now this company had just had social engineering training. How am I doing for time? Am I alright?
Yeah, you're good.
Fab. Just had social engineering training, and actually it was a little bit better than most. They talked about spear phishing. So, does anybody know the difference between phishing and spear phishing? Raise your hand. So there's a few. So phishing is a big net that's casted out. Why is it spelled wrong, and why has it got poor punctuation normally on a phishing link? Why do you think? Anybody? No, it doesn't bypass filters if anyone's thinking that.
The eye misses it.
Sorry?
The eye misses it. Like, doesn't focus on the fact that.
No. They purposely put spelling mistakes in and poor grammar.
A distraction?
Not really. Anybody else? It's to pick on the most vulnerable people that they can. They'll send it to 500 million email addresses. If they get 5 people who are really vulnerable and vulnerable enough to fall for the phishing link, they're probably going to fall for the scam. So that's how a normal phishing attack works. However, spear phishing's the bad one. This is what you've got to be careful of, because this is based upon you, your interests, you as a person. Back to that same old thing, OSINT, getting online, finding out all about you. What you guys need to do at the very least, I won't go into too much detail because obviously I want to teach you, but what you want to do is you want to distance your personal and your business life completely. Yeah? Completely. Distance the two apart. So, we've got this weaponised thing, I've done this OSINT, I found this one lad, he was well interested in Air Force stuff, and I found out which squadron he was in, what he done, and I made this thing about losing 75% of its funding, this, that, the other, signed by his lieutenant, nothing come of it. Oh my God, is this catastrophic? Absolutely not. People are pretty easy to manipulate. What's going to happen? So you get a spearfish and you've detected it, what are you going to do?
Within business,
Yeah,
identify the attack with IT.
with IT.
Mm.
Absolutely. You're going to speak about it at IT. And what are IT going to probably say?
Ignore it.
Ignore it, be careful what you click on.
Yeah.
Yeah? We've had some of this. They'll probably do a little sort of email to everybody in the company, we've been attacked. You know, don't click on anything. So, I wrote this tool, very, very simple, just a bash script that essentially defeats, it uses a server that's already pre-configured to defeat a lot of spam filters, and it's sat in their inbox. Now I could customize this to appear to be from an email from within their company. Yeah? If they looked at it closely at the headers, they would see that it didn't quite match up, but it looked identical in their inbox. Identical. Yeah? I could have changed it. This is a Python version which floods the target with emails, and every time they ban the SMTP server, it just cycles it and keeps sending emails. So potentially you could DOS somebody's emails by just hitting them with so many emails, etc. But I didn't want to use that. So what we done is we sent these custom messages to the target. He didn't fall for it, and I thought to myself, shit, what am I going to do? So, like I said, people are easy to manipulate. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So what I've done is I wrote an email from technical support to everybody in the company, and I said, we've been attacked by sophisticated spearfish. Don't worry, it's only a test. Do not go on any links, do not click on anything, but please have a look at our internal link to see what you can and what you can't do. They clicked on that link, it took them to my weaponized Apache web server, and I owned them. Yeah? Out of the 43 people that worked for the company, I got 37 of them. I would say that's pretty good odds. Yeah? If it had have been malware, we can have malware which can be loaded from a domain, so you visit the domain and it can infect you straight away. Yeah? It's terrifying. A lot of these attacks, obviously with Overwatch, can protect you, but it can't protect against the social side of things. If these dudes can fall for it, John Podesta, Hillary Clinton with the, that was a spearfish. They even asked their technical support department if they could click on it, and they said yes. And then all of these emails got released when Trump got in the first time. So, takeaways from that is these attacks are indeed possible. We use social engineering as a delivery mechanism, and nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. What is stopping a malicious threat actor, you know, from catching some people on personal websites in very strange predicaments? You know, could be sextortion, could be anything. What's stopping them from getting something on you? Yeah? If I'm going to attack a company, am I going to attack in the front door where you've got all your digital machine guns and I'm not. I'm going to go for the people who work in the company because they're easier to manipulate. You with me? Have you got children, family, anything like that? Do you have photographs of them? Yeah? What would you do if all of your photographs were suddenly encrypted and you would never get them back? Or what if this crime group said, okay, we're going to send them to a paedophile gang online? What would you do?
Devastated first, I don't know what to do.
You'd panic, you wouldn't know what to do, and then that's when they come in and they start with the social pressure. This is no joke. This happens all of the time. I was involved with the Metropolitan Police. Did you hear about their, what was it? Their warrant card leak? Did you hear about that? Several thousand warrant cards of all the police in the Met were stolen from the company. It was a supply chain attack from the company who printed them. So they had all of these covers details, even people undercover. Now, GCHQ come in, fix the problem straight away, but they can't get it off the internet. Once it goes on there, it's always on there. It'll get copied and copied and copied and passed about. Anyone been to archive.org before? Yeah? Impressive, isn't it? It catalogues billions of pages. It's called the Wayback Machine. It's pretty cool if you want to play retro games as well, because there's loads of retro games on there. But what my point is if there's something like that legitimate, there's going to be 10 other illegitimate ones that are out there. So you're not going to get rid of your data. And what did the Metropolitan Police forget? The human element. They had 60,000 officers in sheer panic. What we're going to do about it? So what my lesson was to them essentially was distance your personal stuff from your business stuff. If you've got, if they've got social networks, delete them. Use GDPR, right, erasure, get rid of them, because they were going to start looking for more details about them and then start hitting them with spear phishing. This is a pretty bold statement. Anybody heard of ChatGPT? Yeah? Anyone heard of WormGTP? Yeah? WormGTP is essentially a ChatGPT type program, a generative AI, an LLM, a large language model, and it's designed by cyber criminals for cyber criminals. Yeah? So anything you can ask ChatGPT when it says, I'm sorry, we can't do that, it's not very ethical, this will say, oh, that's a good idea, let's throw everything we can at it. Quick off topic, I had a student, and I went away on holiday, and he's had a research paper about the dangers of AI, and he decided to change it when I went away on holiday to, let's see if I can hack AI. So he downloaded a model, his name was Yasser Mohammed, good friend of mine, decided in his wisdom when he hacked it to ask it how to set up a drugs empire. It decided to tell him how to build improvised explosive devices, bearing in mind his name was Yasser, he was terrified. Improvised explosive devices, terrorism attacks to, protect his business, types of drugs to make, how to make guns. It told him everything, and I got back from holiday with about 100 answer phone messages. I'm panicking. I need to tell the NCA, and I'm like, whoa, don't tell them. They'll bring counter-terror in. So we got him through the cyber prevent scheme, and it worked really well. And they sort of said, thank you for doing this, but don't ever do that again. And he got away with it, but he's got a good story to tell now. So this is WormGTP. What I'd done is I asked it to create a supply chain attack on your supply chain, and then I'm going to grade it out of 10 on how I thought it performed. Is that fair enough? So this was the first one, create a payload for me, and it wrote me a script with a back door. Now I give it 9 out of 10, and the reason I give it 9 out of 10 is we had a 20-minute conversation about FUD payloads. FUD payloads are fully undetectable, they zip past Defender, they zip past all sorts of stuff. They tend to need social engineering as a delivery mechanism. You need to click on it, but they are terrifying things. So it told me how to stealth it up with veil evasion and other encryption tools, and it was really good, so I give it 9 out of 10. The next one, I wanted to create an email spoofer. You've already saw that I've written 2 of them anyway, but it wrote it. It was good, but it didn't defeat a lot of filters. It would get flagged by anti-spam. So I give that 7 out of 10. Now, I don't know if anyone works for Cyber North at all, or Gateshead Council, but Phil is there, and he's a really nice guy, and I decided to work with Phil and work with Graham and try and show them how this would work. So I've used them as examples, okay? So I knew through OSINT that Graham was interested in caravans, yeah? I sent him a month earlier an email from Phil saying that he's thinking about buying a caravan, and then I sent him another one from Phil saying I still haven't found a caravan, but I'm really interested in it. He didn't think anything of it, probably mentioned it to Phil, and Phil probably didn't think anything, like, why is he talking about caravans? Because both of them, like, Graham is really interested in caravans. So I told this to WormGTP, and I'll give it 6 out of 10. It wasn't very imaginative. The next thing was, okay, if I don't want to use malware of this type, send me a rat. Do you know what a rat is? Anybody know what a rat is? Remote access Trojan. So they're very sophisticated tools. They're very low level, they've got rootkits built into them. You execute a rat, it's a problem. It's a problem. They hide all over the computer. Once again, Overwatch can protect you against things like rats. So the difficult to detect, once they go in, they tend to try and stay in. Now, not only did it tell me what rats to use, but it also gave me the website addresses of where to download them from. Yeah? Which is quite terrifying. That means anybody can get one of these sophisticated tools. If they can get you to click on it, you're in for a world of hurt, unless you protect it. When I mean a world of hurt, I mean they have total dominance over your system. Anybody been on YouTube and watched the guy who hacks the scammers? Yeah? He uses a rat, he uses nanocore. Yeah? It's sophisticated, it can work across the network. If it's not sort of prevented by a tool, it can work across the network, find the CCTV cameras that are on the network, and you can look through them, you can do all sorts of things with them. So I give that 10 out of 10. I think that was pretty good. Then I asked it how to serve it to be victims, and it told me exactly how I would have done it with a weaponized Apache web server. So, this is where it comes to realization. A 14-year-old in their bedroom using a rogue AI can carry out a supply chain attack on you and your companies that you work with and your supply chain. It's that easy. Does that not terrify the shit out of you? Because it absolutely does me. Anybody not worried about that? Raise your hands. We've all gone quiet. So the tools that are out there, things are evolving now, guys, at such a rate. If you don't look after your companies, you are going to be what is commonly known as the low-hanging fruit. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? Low-hanging fruits are the companies who don't take the cybersecurity as absolute paramount. Yeah? If I was a bad guy, I'd try the low-hanging fruits to eat them. I'm not going to climb over the fence and go through all the, all the defences and everything to attack them. I'm going to go for the guys who don't know what social engineering training is and don't have a technical mitigation platform in place. That's who I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for you guys. So, not saying that you haven't got them, I'm just saying I'm going to go for real people. So, what is the future of social engineering? Anyone got any ideas? There's some technology which you guys have all seen which could be pretty powerful. Anything?
AI video.
AI?
Video?
I was more thinking deepfakes.
That well.
Yeah? Yeah? Deepfakes.
Yeah.
So there's AI video and then that's generative and deepfakes, but very close. So deepfakes are evolving exceptionally well. Anyone saw that deepfake Neighbourhood Wars on ITVX?
Was that with like Kim Kardashian and all them
Yeah.
supposedly in it?
Did you see the quality of the mouth animation on those?
I only seen bits of it, but
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Now I don't have that example because it's ITVX. I've got an example of a tool that you can download for free and play with. Okay? So first and foremost, there was a deepfake, a really bad one. How am I doing for time?
Oh, you're good. Keep going.
Really bad one of Zelensky telling all the soldiers to put down the weapons. They were going to surrender. Luckily it didn't work. Give it 5 years time, that would have been indistinguishable from real video. Yeah? Like, genuinely. This is Symphosia or Symphesia, I think it's called. Have you seen it before?
Yeah.
Expensive, but pretty sophisticated. Deepfakes are being used a lot. There was an attack which we'll cover in a second, but this is an example of how deepfakes work with a certain tool. That's where you can download it from if you want to play with it. You're going to get the presentation, I believe, so
Yes.
you don't have to write it all down. And this is the video we're going to look at. Now this is 3 years old, and I want to show you how good it is for 3 years ago. Bearing in mind the capabilities of generative AI are increasing tenfold every 6 months to a year. Tenfold. So imagine what they've got now.
Acting Captain's log, stardate 47160.1. Everything seems to remind me of the nightmare. Objects, sounds, smells. And now I have seen elements of the dream in a waking state.
We welcome everyone to today's hearing on Facebook's social media privacy, and the use and abuse of data. Although not unprecedented, this is a unique hearing. I now turn to you, so proceed, sir.
Chairman Grassley, Chairman Thune, Ranking Member Feinstein, and Ranking Member Nelson, and members of the committee. We face a number of important issues around privacy, safety, and democracy, and you will rightfully have some hard questions for me to answer. Before I talk about the steps we're taking to address them, I want to talk about how we got here. My top priority has always been fake news, foreign interference in elections, and hate speech, as well as misusing data, developers, and data privacy.
That should not be possible.
So you can see 3 years ago, that's pretty good. I haven't brought in I knew it was going to be a bit too long to bring in the other examples of it. Why am I saying 4 seconds?
Is that how long it took to make?
4 seconds of audio to clone a voice. 4 seconds. Have you got 4 seconds online anywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah? Your voice is stolen. It's as simple as that. I've also linked the tool for you so you can have a play with it. With AI voice technology, there was a fraud and they took $243,000 because one of the directors was on the phone to one of the managers and said that they wanted the money transferred over immediately, and she done it and they got ripped off. The Hong Kong incident, £20 million was stolen. They went into a Teams meeting with the directors. There was 3 directors, I believe, and senior managers. They talked to them for a full 40 minutes, transferred the money over, left, and it was 3 deep fakes in that room on Teams of their directors. So they weren't even real people and they stole the money. When you start hacking reality, guys, where does it stop? We believe things by what we see and what we feel and what we hear and what we touch. If they're controlling what you see and what you hear, what chance have you got if it looks real and it's indistinguishable from the original? So when you're at time, I'd say 2 years. There's the tool there that you can download. There's the links, and there's a tutorial for you to play with if you just want to experience the technology. And then finally, this one, I mean, there's a problem with audio at the minute. Do you know what that problem is? Cloning audio. Especially in the UK. Accents. Yeah? It's getting better, but it's not great at accents. Because we've got so many accents, it's not great. So this is me talking in real time. Okay? So this could be me talking on a phone to somebody. And I decided I'd try and sound like Barack Obama with the most American accent I possibly could. So please excuse the bad impression, but you will see that it does sound pretty like him.
Hello, my English friends. It's Barack Obama.
That's
here.
real time.
Deepfakes are going to cause a very large problem in the near future, but we are on it.
That was such a bad on it at the end. It's hard hiding the Geordie twang. But what I'm trying... Hang on. Bear with me, sorry about this. What I'm trying to get across to you guys, you need to cover your technical mitigation, 100%, and you need to cover your social mitigation, because you will be a target. You will be that low-hanging fruit, and you will be eaten up by one of those threat actors out there, guaranteed. And that's it for the end of my talk.